The weight of ages is a burden few can truly comprehend. But to understand Middle-earth, one must understand the man who carried that weight for over 6,000 years. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to witness the entire history of a world, only to watch everything you love slowly fade away? In the vast tapestry of Tolkien's legendarium, Elrond Half-elven stands as a bridge between two worlds, a survivor of 3 distinct ages, and the silent guardian of a hope that many thought was lost. He saw the fall of kings, the betrayal of friends, and the ultimate victory of light over shadow. But Elrond's wisdom wasn't born in the safety of a library. It was forged in the fires of personal loss and impossible choices. Before we journey through his 6,000-year epic, if you are a fan of Middle-earth lore and want to uncover the hidden histories of the legendarium, make sure to subscribe to The Rings of Lore. Now, let us step back into the First Age, to a moment when the world was literally breaking apart. Elrond's story begins in the First Age, during the darkest days of the war against the original Dark Lord, Morgoth. He was born at the havens of Sirion, the last refuge for those fleeing the ruins of a collapsing continent. His lineage was the most prestigious in history. He was the son of Eärendil the Mariner and Elving, carrying the blood of both Beren and Luthien. But lineage offered no protection from the cruelty of his kin. When the sons of Fëanor attacked his home in a desperate, bloody search for a Silmaril, Elrond and his brother Elros were captured. Imagine a young child, his parents gone, his father sailing the heavens as a star, his mother transformed into a bird to escape, left in the hands of the very men who slaughtered his people. This is where Elrond's unique character was formed. He was raised by Maglor, one of his kidnappers, who grew to love the boys. This strange dynamic taught Elrond a lesson he would carry forever, that even in the heart of a doomed enemy, there can be a flicker of mercy. It made him a healer instead of a hater. At the end of the First Age, the Valar offered the brothers a choice that no other beings would ever receive. To which race would they belong? Elros, his brother, chose the gift of men, mortality. He went on to found the island kingdom of Númenor and died as its first great king. Elrond chose the path of the firstborn, the elves. This is the hidden tragedy of Elrond's life. By choosing immortality, he condemned himself to watch everyone he loved grow old and die. He stood on the shores of Middle-earth and watched his brothers' ships sail away, knowing they would never meet again in this world or the next. For Elrond, immortality wasn't a gift. It was a long, slow goodbye to his family. This melancholy of the half-elven is the silent background music to everything he does for the next 2 ages. As the Second Age dawned, Elrond became the vice-regent to High King Gil-galad. This was a time of rebuilding, but also of a new, subtler danger. when a stranger named Annatar arrived, promising to teach the elves how to make Middle-earth as beautiful as the Undying Lands, Elrond was one of the few who felt a chill in his soul. He mistrusted this Lord of Gifts. When the truth was revealed, that Annatar was Sauron, and the war of the elves and Sauron erupted, Elrond was sent to save the city of Eregion. He arrived too late to save the legendary smith Celebrimbor, but he managed to gather the survivors. Retreating north, pursued by overwhelming armies, Elrond discovered a hidden, mist-shrouded valley. He named it Imladris, known to the world as Rivendell. It wasn't built as a palace of pride, but as a sanctuary of knowledge, a place where the history of a dying world could be preserved. The Second Age ended with the greatest war Middle-earth had ever seen. Elrond stood as Gil-galad's herald on the slopes of Mount Doom during the Last Alliance. He fought in the siege of Barad-dûr for 7 long years and saw his king Gil-galad and the human king Elendil fall before the might of Sauron. He was one of the only 2 people to stand with Isildur at the cracks of doom. He saw the one ring in Isildur's hand and pleaded with him to destroy it. In that moment, Elrond saw the fundamental weakness of men, not a lack of courage, but a vulnerability to the Shadow's temptation. When Isildur walked away with the ring, Elrond knew the peace they had fought so hard for was only a temporary truce. He began the Third Age with a heavy secret. The Dark Lord was not truly gone. For the next 3,000 years, Elrond became the memory of Middle-earth. He watched the kingdoms of men slowly decay into ruins. He took the heirs of Isildur into his own home, protecting the broken line of kings when they were nothing more than hunted rangers. He raised Aragorn as his own son, a task of immense irony and love. He was preparing the man who would eventually marry his daughter and leave him alone once again. But his greatest personal pain came from his wife, Celebrian. When she was captured and tortured by orcs, Elrond used all his skills to mend her body. But her spirit was broken. She chose to sail west to find peace, leaving Elrond to endure the coming darkness without his companion. This is the Elrond we meet in the Tales of the Ring. A man who has lost his brother, his kings, and his wife, yet still refuses to let the world fall. By the time of the War of the Ring, Elrond was the keeper of Vilya, the Ring of Air. He used its power to keep Rivendell hidden and timeless. At the Council of Elrond, he didn't dictate, he guided. He understood that the only way to defeat a power like Sauron was through the smallest, most unexpected path: a hobbit. When the ring was finally destroyed, Elrond's work was finished. The power of his own ring faded, and Rivendell began to age like a normal forest. His daughter, Arwen, chose the mortal life of his brother Elros, breaking Elrond's heart one final time. In the last scene of his story, he sails from the Grey Havens. He was the last of the Great Ones to leave, a man who gave 6,000 years of service to a land that was never truly his own home. Elrond Half-elven is a testament to the power of endurance. He shows us that true wisdom isn't found in avoiding pain, but in carrying it while still caring for others. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found Elrond's story as moving as I do, like this video and tell me in the comments, would you have chosen the life of the elves or the gift of men? Until next time, this is the Rings of Lore, and the road goes ever on.